name is Phillip Martin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. I'm starting a new feature on this very video where you can skip all this waffle and just go to the timestamp I'm putting up here. That will tell you where the actual review is going to begin. But first, I'm going to beg you to like and subscribe the video because I kind of just need you to do that. If you can, it will be really, really helpful. Also, I'm giving away free crap, but as this is a Star Trek video, you guys are probably not going to want this free crap. This is a micro-budgeted Doctor Who spin-off with a Doctor Who monster. If you know who Syl is, you probably want this. If you don't know who Syl is, give this one a miss. We're doing plenty of giveaways, though, so there'll be more fun stuff in the coming weeks that you can win. How do you win it? By subscribing to the channel. That's the important part. And we have a different hashtag for different all the different prizes. This hashtag is Marshminnows. Marshminnows, the explanation is in the show notes. Anything else I can think to tell you? No. Okay, so let's get into the review. I have been watching Picard, and I had a bit of an epiphany about Picard, which I'll get into during this review. But I think, let's just talk about what happens. This is full spoilers. I'm going to be going over everything that happened in the episode and giving you my reaction to it. So we start off with another flashback to 14 years ago to the Romulan resettlement refugees, and apparently they're going to be on this is a planet called Vashti, which, interestingly enough, is a minor character in a Jewish holiday that's coming up shortly. Purim. Vashti was the evil wife of Ahasuerus. But I'll talk about more of that near the time. Okay, so first question: because on active duty he's a captain or an admiral, what is he wearing? What is this, white lounge suit? I'm not up. But fine, you know what? I can live with it. Whatever it is, I can live with it. It was not so terrible. There's a nice bit of character development here. Clearly, he's gotten over his discomfort being around children, which I like. I like a lot. There's a lot of stuff in this episode that felt very right and true to the character of Picard, which I haven't really seen so much before. And, I haven't watched anybody else's review yet, so I'm intrigued to see what else everybody else thinks about. So Picard's going to visit these, I don't know what they are, like lady nuns, like lady monks. I don't know, they seem to become some kind of spiritual order or somehow. Okay, and then there he meets Elnor, this kid there. So so he's clearly got over his discomfort with children, and it's very obvious about how they're sitting and how much time they're laboring with his relationship with this kid, that this kid is going to grow up and be something kind of important, in the show. So I figured at this point, this is the Lord of the Rings Legolas looking guy, when he grows up. Which, interesting enough, we got the Klingons looking like orcs, and we got like Legolas Romulans, which I actually kind of like both of them, to be honest with you. But if they like Lord of the Rings so much, Amazon's doing a Lord of the Rings show, they could try and get a job over there. Okay, fine. So Picard, but while Picard's having fun with Elnor, teaching him how to fence and doing all the Picardy stuff with him, he gets news from Raffi, I think, from the ship, that synths have attacked Mars and everything's going to hell. So at this point, the whole Romulan refugee crisis needs a little bit more explanation for me, because there's so much just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand the logistics of how this could possibly happen, or how the Romulan Star Empire needs so much help. And later we find out the planet they're on is in the Beta Quadrant. Doesn't that if it takes 70 years to get from the Delta Quadrant to the Alpha Quadrant, so I think a quadrant takes about 15, 20 years to traverse. So they're in the Alpha Quadrant now, they're in the Beta Quadrant. How did they get there so quick? I don't understand. Is there a time? Is there a wormhole? There's just a lot I need explained to me to make it not stupid. I'm not the sort of guy who needs everything spelled out and explained to him normally. That last Star Wars movie when Palpatine came back, I was like, okay, I didn't care about them. They didn't explain. I was like, fine, he's back. What's the difference? As it turns out, nobody cared anyway. So then at it's the pre-title scenes. At the end of the scene, Picard beams out, and for some reason he's walking when he's being beamed out. I don't know why. Does he keep on walking where he's beamed onto? But this is really the what really is annoying me with this is I wanted to see him in a transporter room. I wanted to see him on a starship. I wanted to see him be Picard, which is why I think most of us are tuning in. We like Picard. We like Picard in context of being a Starfleet admiral or captain, and we would like to see a bit of that. But this show really, really shies away from it. It's kind of similar to, I had a problem with what's the name of the show? It was a Netflix show. It was one of the Marvel Netflix shows, Jessica Jones. Now, in the comic book called A-List, it was really awesome because you had Jessica Jones, and it was like very gritty, like low-level street superhero. But in the background, in the comic book, you had Captain America. You had all the Marvel universe going on in the background. And in the TV show, they completely shied away from that altogether, which I thought was a real mistake. Yeah, just give us a little bit of what it is that we love and we want from this. Just a taste. I would have loved to have seen him on just in a transporter room or on a bridge, see Starfleet personnel walking around. I know it's kind of stupid, but that's just something I would have really liked to have seen. So at this point, I want to talk about what my core problem is. I think with Picard and with this whole Alex Kurtzman Trek in general. I mean, look, Discovery was really, really dumb. That's my problem with Discovery. It's just really dumb and full of 2019, 2020 dumb politics and I don't see the word agenda. Basically agenda. But here's the thing. I think when Gene Roddenberry, I think also Mike Berman as well, when they were making Star Trek is full of analogies. The Federation is clearly meant to represent America, or if you want to be more globalist, let's say the Western world. And it's always coming from a premise that the values of America and the values of the Western world were good values. Like America in 1966, America may not be the perfected place, but the basic values of justice and liberty and free speech and democracy and equality was so incredibly good that over a period of several hundred years, they would get to this utopia of Star Trek. So I think Gene Roddenberry, and again, while he thought there were problems within America, which he felt he needed to comment on, the famous episode with Frank Gorshin, with his black on one side and white on the other, brilliant analogy, just brilliant. But it was coming from a premise that the world that he was representing, America, or the Western world, was an intrinsic good to the world that was adding to the world. I don't think that's the mindset behind people creating the Star Trek. I don't think they think America or the Western philosophy has been a benefit of the world, and they feel embarrassed and ashamed by it. Which I just think that's the if you pare it back and you pare it back and you pare it back. That's the that's where I think they're going wrong, and they're going wrong at such a core level. It shows in so many different subtle ways, which I think that's my problem with this iteration of Star Trek. It doesn't love the Western world. It doesn't love America. Which I think is a problem. Okay, so after the title we got, we're on to Reyes' ship. I quite like Reyes. There's the thing about this show. There's a lot I quite like about it, but again, with that foundation of being ashamed of the Western world's culture, it all falls apart for him. But there's this, okay. But I like Reyes. I think he's an interesting character. I hate the ship. I just hate the ship design. It just seems dumb and stupid to me. It just doesn't. It seems like they're working hard for it to not look like Star Trek. Just try and make it look like Star Trek. I think people would like it more. I think people like Star Trek because they like Star Trek. They don't, they don't think they need something different with Star Trek written on it. In fact, if you do Star Trek and put a different name on it, they still like that. That's why we all like the Orville. Fine. So there's a little scene with Rios and Jurati fleshing out their characters a bit, which is good because we don't know anything about them. Then Raffi walks in. She's all pissed off, like, "Where are we going?" She's looking at the ship manifest, and they're going to Vashti, the Romulan resettlement world, in the Beta Quadrant. Okay, again, how did they get the Beta Quadrant so quickly? I would love to know that. So they're going, and Raffi's like, "No, this is stupid. This is terrible. The world's gonna end if we do this." So then we go to visit Picard on the ship, and oh god, there's another thing in it that I really hated. I really hate. He's in this like hospitality holosuite, which he had made up to look like his chateau in France. So basically, they can just film all those scenes together in one go. But it seems to me they're just doing everything and anything possible to not have Picard on a freaking spaceship. That's what can I just see Captain Picard on a freaking starship? Would that be so much to ask from a Captain Picard TV show? From a Picard TV show? Is that so much to ask? Apparently it is. Fine. So then in the holosuite they have this meeting. Yeah, wouldn't it be better in some kind of version of a ready room? Oh, or like with that little office that you were in the little meeting room they used in Next Generation all the time. Like, wouldn't that be so much freaking better? It's like, just as I feel this thing has a intrinsic hatred of of everything American, I think it has an intrinsic hatred of everything Star Trek as well. Fine. So they're in the stupid ass holosuite, and they have like this meeting with Raffi, Jurati, and Reyes. They're talking about going to Vashti, and Raffi's like, "This is pure insanity," because it's not a good idea. So Vashti is now not a very well policed planet, and it's a hotbed for Romulan radicalization. So whenever there's a Western TV show, that talks about fundamentalism and radicalization, almost always they never ever understand it, and it's like it's so. How can I explain it? It's so imperialist. The trouble with the British Empire is they turned up. This is in the 19th century. They turned up at countries and they just said, "Well, of course you have the same cultural values as us, so we're going to help you." Be like, there are different cultures in the world that react differently to different things. I think all people are intrinsically good people and want to be good people and love their children. I think that's universal. But I do think there are strong cultural differences which has strong differences in what people could consider moral or not. Like in the Western world, we think pluralism is very good. I tend to agree with that. I think pluralism is very good. If you go to like the Arab world, pluralism is not a good thing. It's not okay not to be Muslim or to be gay. It's not okay in like many of those states. It's illegal. But people don't address that because they have a fundamental lack of understanding of there being different cultures. They don't understand how a culture can have a different moral value to you and they still be good people. That's really what it is. Doctor Who really did really annoy me with this a few years ago when they spoke about radicalization. They did a whole thing where aliens were living on Earth, and some of them had become radicalized. It was basically like this alien ISIS was going on Earth. And then the Doctor at the end makes this like impassioned anti-war speech, and they all go, "Oh, okay, then that's good. You've talked me into it." No, that's the thing. Radicalization, especially like religious fundamentalist radicalization, people think they're being good and they think they're being moral by doing these acts of terror and aggression. They think they think they're acting for the greater good. They think they're doing the right thing. So you can't tell them, "Oh no, that's the wrong thing," because they just think you're wrong. So. I can't stand it when they talk about again. I think it's talking about Muslim radicalization, because I think that's really the most prevalent form in the world. Especially as this show is commenting on this massive refugee crisis, which we are so much more in Europe than than in the States. But there is this massive refugee crisis from the Arab world into the Western world, which is why we're talking about this in allegory on Star Trek, which is what Star Trek should be doing. I think. I just don't think they're doing it from a very rational perspective. Okay, so the Borg cube, where we flip back to that again, and Soji is doing some investigating into the Romulan woman that went bonkers last week. Saying she's the destroyer of all. Okay, fine. So I would look into that too, I guess. Picard arrives on Vashti, and there's this very strong planetary security. If you go near it, you're going to be shot down by a drone. So he says, well, just tell him I am here. I am Picard. And they're like, yeah, we did that. They don't like you. Go away. So they basically have to bribe their way to get to allow them to beam down. They have to bribe their way to get transport rights. So Picard walks around being very friendly, saying hello, and greetings to everybody in Romulan. There's a sign up saying Romulans only in a cafe. Really, isn't that a bit redundant? Saying only Romulans are there, but I guess they want to make a point. And if this is supposed to represent a refugee camp in today's world, like in Jenin or Gaza, no, if you walk around there without a security detail, you're gonna get killed. If Picard did this, if Picard walked into Jenin or if Picard walked into Gaza, he would be killed. No matter how friendly he was, no matter how on time, he would be killed. Because again, this is just this arrogant Westerner view of other cultures, which is just so incredibly clueless. Okay, so then Picard goes to the lady monastery again and meets a woman who hasn't aged at all. And then he meets Elnor, the kid from the beginning, who's all grown up and now is just in a complete meltdown shock to see Picard. So then we flick back over to the Borg cube, and we're with Soji and Narek. Narek is freaking the best thing about this show. He is so charismatic and magnetic. Listen, I spoke about Doctor Who before. BBC. The ratings for Doctor Who are in the toilet, and they're getting worse. You want the ratings to come up? You cast this guy as the Doctor. Everybody would freaking watch. He is so incredibly charismatic. Your eye goes directly to him in every scene. Yeah, and regardless of your gender or your sexual orientation, everybody likes this guy. I've had my daughters walk in when I'm watching and go, ooh, who's he? Yeah, I've had gay friends of mine go, he is gorgeous, and everybody loves this guy, Narek, and he's doing a great job. Again, BBC, this guy should be Doctor Who. So then, so we have this bit with Narek and Soji hanging out, and it builds up to this bit which I thought was going to be good, and it was really awful, and I hated it. Yeah, where they do this sliding down the corridor scene. I thought they were going to do something Star Trek-y, there was some kind of anti-gravity wave that goes through the Borg cube at this time, and they can float on it, or something cool like that. No, they're just sliding backwards and forwards. I was just so freaking annoying. So they do that for a bit, then they start making out, and Narek reveals that he knows that she's not what she said, all she said she's been. That she wasn't on the crew manifest or the passenger manifest the day she said she arrived, and she said, "Well, it's clearly a mistake." And he's like, "No, he knows it's not." So she says, "To hell with him." But then Narek points out, look, you need me you need me to get to these Borg data files that's going to explain what happened on the Borg on the Romulan ship that was assimilated and the bonkers Romulans came out from. Fine. So back on Reyes' ship, Raffi starts to pick up comm traffic that Picard's presence is known, that he's on the planet, and lots of people are really pissed off. They do not like him at all. So she says, "Listen, you got to get out of there." They believe that he and the Federation betrayed them. I'm not sure how, but they actually do explain that later, which I'm kind of glad about. But they need to get out there. And also the I think one of the best bits of the show, which it didn't quite make sense, but I still like the look and feel of it, is the old original series Romulan warbird. But they said bird of prey, but I thought it was warbirds were the Next Generation one. There's a bird of prey. Now it's been taken over by some mafia kind of guy. They're coming to attack. So they got to work out to that. So Picard says, "Look, you do what you do. You do to deal with that. I need more time." So Picard is there at the Lady Monastery to recruit a super Romulan ninja assassin trained by these lady monks to be his bodyguard to protect him. And it just so happens the kid from earlier, Elnor, has just finished his training, and he's really, really good at this. So Picard asks him to pledge his sword. It's very Lord of the Rings, but to pledge his sword to him. But Elnor has all this resentment built up that Picard abandoned him. So he says, "I don't see why I shouldn't do the same to you and abandon you." So Picard gets ready to leave. In the next transport window is in 7 minutes. But 7 minutes is enough time to cause trouble and get yourself killed. So like an arrogant idiot, Picard tears down the Romulan only sign at the cafe, and he And he goes to sit there, and he's like, and he's asking for like service, a waiter. Nobody comes in. Now, something I thought that was very I thought this was in character for Picard. I like the moral indignation, and how he would. I think this is something that Picard would do. So eventually, he's causing a ruckus, and the sheriff comes up, and he says, "Yeah, we met before." He said, "Really?" So, I'm sorry, I don't remember. This guy used to be a former Romulan senator. And he makes this very loud public explanation about how how moved they were by him when he came to speak to Romulus. Did he speak on Romulus? I thought Romulus was destroyed. Well, whenever he came to speak, they were like, they loved him. They made him cry. And they got on these transport ships to evacuate. I love, by the way, they're called the Wallenberg class transport ship. Freaking awesome. Wallenberg, if you don't know, is he was an architect, I think, but he was instrumental in getting so many Jews out of Germany during the Second World War. Unfortunately, he was murdered in January of '45, like a few months before the war finished. But the war had really turned in his favor. It's just tragic. He was good, but I love that they use Wallenberg as the name for the ship. Just fantastic, really, really great. So the Romulans, they blame Picard and the Federation because they made the Romulans trust them and rely on them and not rely on their own like ingenuity. They feel that the Federation took advantage of them when they wait by promising everything and then yanking it at the last minute. So I would have thought billions, but they say millions would die. That's what I think. That's what their rationale is. Okay, fair enough. So the sheriff guy demands to have a sword combat with Picard, and he thrusts a sword into his hand. They start to fight. He looks a bit dodgery for this stuff. He really does. It doesn't really. But okay. But then he throws a sword down again. Very Picard. Very in character. I like that. I like that a lot. And then and he says he will not fight, and he's going to get killed. Then Elnor shows up. Freaking awesome. I like it. Narek and Elnor. I want a show about Romulan culture. Romulan culture is really interesting to me. I love the way they're doing it in this. So he shows up and he says, "My friend, don't do this or I'm going to have to kill you." And they carry on. And obviously, so he does this incredible martial arts move and slices the head off the cylinder. But he does it in such a way that the head doesn't come off straight away. Because he's so fast and his sword's so sharp. The head stays there for a second before it falls off. Absolutely incredible. Really like the character. So then they beam up to their 7 minutes is up, and they beam up to the ship. What is Reyes' ship called? I really don't know. Back on the Ball Cube, Narek's creepy sister turns up, and apparently Soji is the key to everything. She's the key to where all the hidden synths are throughout the galaxy. Although they don't know if there are any hidden synths or how many there are, but somehow she's the key to finding them all, which is what they're trying to do. So then we actually have a bit of a real space battle scene, which I like a lot. The bird of prey shows up. The original says bird of prey shows up, and it's just kicking the ass out of Reyes' ship. So I would have thought, it being so old, it wouldn't be so so formidable, but apparently it is. I mean, I don't know, if you have a a reasonable, I guess you have an expensive yacht, an expensive modern yacht. How would it fare against a 1920s, a 1920s small warship? I don't know. I think it probably would do okay, but I'm guessing it's been upgraded and somehow whatever. So there's so then they're trying to get from them. We get another hologram member of crews. Geez, this whole Kurtzman Trek, they just need to give up on the holograms. Just stop with all this obsession with the hologram. So another hologrammatic crew member shows up. Also, they're all played by the same guy who plays Reyes, which I quite like as well. And it's a pretty good fight. So the Romulan ship is trying to force Reyes' ship into the security grid, so it's blown up by that. And they're almost destroyed. And then this other ship shows up out of nowhere and starts helping them fight them. The other ship gets destroyed, but not before they can beam out the occupant. And the occupant is, of course, 7 of 9. And 7 of 9 is damn it, Picard, I know we've never shared any screen time before, but now we've got a complex backstory. Yeah, I'm like, okay, fine, I get. So this is what's going on. I think they just like thought of what do things that regular people, normies, know about Star Trek. What do they know about Star Trek? And what they expect is they know about Picard, they know about transporters, they know about Federation badge, they know about Seven of Nine. Just things they know about. They're going to put in, but there's no real kind of logic to stitch them together. So and that was the episodes. Again, this was had lots of good elements in it. I thought Picard was in character for quite a lot of it. Actually, I like Elnor, the Romulan ninja assassin guy. I kind of like Reyes as well. The whole smoking on the ship is kind of stupid. Michael Chabon suggested because he's Hispanic that he was smoking, and then he suggested was it synthagars like holographic cigars. Yeah, that I could live with. But I just hate the ship design. And again, but the problem with this is the fundamental premise that it doesn't think America is a force of good in the world. Where I think, Gene Roddenberry and Next Generation, they did. They just thought they weren't perfect yet, but they thought they were on a good trajectory. I think the people making this Star Trek thinks America is a force for ill. My name is Phillip Martin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. If you have an opinion on things, let me know what you think. Put your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, let me know what you think. And again, if you could hit the like or subscribe button, that would be fan dabby double dosing.